up next, San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria joins other big city mayors in Sacramento, calling for state help with the homelessness crisis.
Hear from the boyfriend of one of the victims in that deadly hit-and-run crash from Mother's Day coming up.
A new traffic calming measure coming to Diamond Street and Pacific Beach. We have reaction from both sides of the issue.
From homelessness to graduating from law school, Doors of Change helped Justine, and now the Tegna Foundation wants to pitch in.
And soccer fans get excited over the possibility of an MLS team here in San Diego. CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts now.
A coalition of big city mayors led by San Diego's Todd Gloria say they need more help from the state when it comes to the homelessness crisis. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. 76% of the state's unhoused population lives within big cities. Our political reporter Morgan Reiner has more tonight on what Mayor Gloria and the coalition is asking for. Morgan?
Since 2018, the state has been giving cities money through direct grants to address the homeless crisis. The governor included $1 billion in his latest budget to go to the cities through the same grants. But Mayor Gloria said they want to double that and guarantee they see it every year.
San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria says cities across the state are making progress placing people experiencing homelessness into shelter and housing.
However, we acknowledge that it's hard for many Californians to see these results, and that's because we're simply not keeping pace with the number of people who are becoming newly homeless.
A cycle he says more funding will help solve. $2 billion a year, each year, directly to cities, and $1.5 billion in additional funding for Project Homekey, which helps turn unused motels into housing.
This Homekey funding allows us to actually bring thousands of people inside into safer settings on their way to permanent housing. We've used it, and we've used it successfully. But the question is, every year, are we going to lose it?
But the fact that California had a budget surplus last year and is facing a deficit this year shows just how quickly the state's financial well-being can change. What's wrong with getting it on a yearly basis?
The individuals we're seeking to serve will not have their problem solved overnight. They will need months, if not years, worth of assistance, and we have to be able to actually budget for that.
Governor Gavin Newsom overall allocated a record $15.3 billion to help solve the crisis. If the governor and state lawmakers don't grant their additional wish,
if that's not possible, there are other things the state can do to help us. Number one is there's $360 million in bonus homeless assistance funding that is currently sitting on the sidelines that has already been appropriated that could be released today to help cities like mine house more people. We're asking the state to release that money. That is no additional cost to the state. That is money they've already allocated.
This is not the first press conference I've gone to where the big city mayors were asking for this. It's been an ongoing ask. The legislature and the governor already proposed how they want their budgets to look, knowing this was their ask, and they didn't include it the way they wanted it. We'll see if anything realistically changes in the next few weeks before lawmakers and the governor have to vote on their final budget together.
All right, Morgan, thanks. Just days after 2 women died in a fiery hit-and-run crash in Bay Terrace's early Mother's Day morning, 53-year-old Tony Garcia, the man who police say turned himself in 14 hours after the crash, pleaded not guilty in court just a few hours ago. CBS 8's Kirsten Holmes was in the courtroom and joins us live now with details. Kirsten?
Yeah, I'm here at the San Diego Superior Court where bail was originally set at $100,000. It was increased to $250,000 with special conditions. We spoke to Andrew. He's Jasmine Cano's boyfriend. She was one of the victims in that crash. He says that he and the entire family are waiting on justice to be served, but they know that justice will not bring Elizabeth or Jasmine back.
She was really selfless. Like, she cared a lot about her family. She put everybody first before her, too. She was really wise.
Andrew Gutierrez is Jasmine Cano's boyfriend. He says their friends and their entire family is struggling with the loss of Jasmine and Elizabeth after they were killed in a hit-and-run crash early Mother's Day morning.
The worst part is, like, when you wake up in the morning and you realize that they're not here no more, too.
He did not slow down. He did not stop. And he ultimately T-boned the victim's vehicle causing the death of both Elizabeth and Jasmine.
We're told the Honda Jasmine, Elizabeth, and 2 other passengers were in was T-boned by a Ford F-150 truck driven by 53-year-old Tony Garcia. Laura Evans is the deputy district attorney prosecuting the case. She says Garcia spoke to one of the passengers who was asking for help, as witnesses say Garcia was walking away.
And the defendant said something to the effect of, "This is a hit and run," and continued to leave the scene. So to be involved in such a serious collision, to not call 911, to not call render aid, and then flee the scene, those are the types of things that we're not able to do, and thus we may not be able to determine whether or not he was intoxicated at the time.
The driver of the Honda suffered a skull fracture and liver lacerations and is still in the hospital. The 4th passenger suffered only minor injuries. Elizabeth and Jasmine died at the hospital. Andrew says he and the family look forward to justice being served.
He took 2 lives, so I mean, why be free? You know?
While they plan to say their final goodbyes to Elizabeth, a young mom, and Jasmine, her sister, who just wanted to celebrate Mother's Day together.
She was just really selfless, and honestly, I looked up to her, and I appreciate every moment I spent with her too.
Bail was increased to $250,000 because the judge said because Garcia waited 14 hours or only turned himself in 14 hours after the crash, that means he's a flight risk. His next court date is set for June 29th. Now, there is a GoFundMe for the final expenses of Elizabeth and Jasmine. You can find that information on our website, cbs8.com. Back to you.
Kirsten, you touched on it a little bit with the flight risk statement. The defense actually asked for Tony Garcia's bail to be reduced, but in fact, it was increased. Is that part of it?
That was part of it. So because Garcia is born and raised here in California and spent probably 3 decades here in San Diego, his attorney was arguing for his bail to be reduced because his family has limited means. But because the judge said he left the scene of the crime and then turned himself in later, that is why they increased that bail.
Thanks so much. Kirsten Holmes reporting live.
A man is in custody tonight facing a murder charge after a deadly shooting at Campland by the Bay. It happened last night around 10 o'clock near the Mission Bay RV Park's community swimming pool. Investigators say 2 men got into an argument. One left and came back with a gun. Police say 38-year-old Michael Callahan shot the 49-year-old victim in the chest and then took off. Callahan was found a short time later in his motorhome. We're still waiting for official word this evening on what caused this fire at an apartment building in North Park. It broke out around 11 this morning on Utah Street, just north of Adams Avenue. Firefighters say it looks like it started with a vehicle fire that spread to the building. It took about 30 minutes to put out. There was a lot of damage, but no one was hurt. Hundreds of contracted bus drivers in San Diego are on strike, disrupting dozens of routes in the South Bay. The workers are asking for better working conditions, including access to restrooms, places to take food breaks, and better pay. The dispute is between about 400 bus drivers and the third-party staffing company, Transdev.
The rumors are going strong, but we won't know for certain until tomorrow if Major League Soccer is coming to San Diego.
There have been several failed attempts over the years, but soccer fans are hopeful that that is all about to change. John Howard is here tonight early with a response to this possible huge news. John?
Yeah, this is big news. And when you talk about the major sports teams that have come here, the Chargers back in the 60s and the Padres in the 60s and a couple of NBA teams, but that's it when it comes to the upper level of pro sports. This is a big deal. Soccer fans across the county, they've been waiting for a Major League Soccer team to come to America's finest city for a while. And since tomorrow's press conference includes the commissioner of the MLS and the billionaire investor from Egypt, it's safe to say they will be announcing that San Diego is being granted an expansion franchise. The team name and logo are not expected to be announced tomorrow, nor the team kit. Kit is soccer speak for uniform. It's a big victory for San Diego, as this expansion was initially given to Sacramento before funding fell through, and then Las Vegas appeared to be the front runner to get an MLS team after its relatively recent additions of the NFL Raiders and NHL Golden Knights. But tomorrow, the brass will be in San Diego to make the announcement official, and fans can't wait.
Dude, I'm super excited. You know, I've been waiting for this a lot, you know. We've had basketball teams, football teams, You know, it's great to have finally a soccer team, you know, especially for the people that have been waiting for it, are excited.
I'm stoked. Yeah, it's a really exciting time. We've been hearing about this for a few months now, like it's been on the back burner, but it's always in the back of your mind that this might happen. And tomorrow, obviously, the big announcement, and super excited, super stoked for it to happen, yeah.
We're selling out crowds. We have the best fan base. And I think that's evident now. And I think that they've seen that. And so, I mean, there's really no better market for a team.
Hopefully, if we get a San Diego team, man, you know, they're here to stay. They don't let us down. They don't leave us, you know, they don't leave us like the Chargers did. You know, I want them to stay here forever.
We're going to sell out every game. We're coming. And it's going to be fun.
A lot of excitement. The team will play its games at Snapdragon Stadium, which is where tomorrow's press conference is. Not expected to start play, though, until 2025. But you can feel and see the excitement building.
People want a team.
They
badly.
do.
And I think we're ready for it. You can see the Padres, what they've done since the Chargers have left. There's a vacuum. There's space for another entity, and why not?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this affects the San Diego Loyal as a men's soccer team and the San Diego Wave as a women's soccer team, and if that impacts their attendance or not. But again, that's 2 years down the road.
It'll be exciting to see if they include San Diegans, involve them in the team name, maybe the uniform.
Oh, yeah. That's always fun stuff.
Yeah, we'll
team
see.
colors and team name.
Right?
Looking forward to it. And some games. A couple years off, though. Thanks, John. Still ahead. Can an incognito search help you save on airfare when you book that summer trip? We verify.
And if you're already firing up the outdoor grill ahead of summer, you may not be cleaning it as often as you should.
Talking about some coastal clouds, but also that inland sunshine. Much of the same in the forecast, at least through tomorrow. But what about into the weekend? Details ahead.
And up next, efforts to calm traffic on a busy street in Pacific Beach, and not everyone is on board.